Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Check. What up, world? It's the man with the plan, Burt McGurk, aka PR, the King of Hearts, and you are now tuned into Clocking Out, the podcast you listen to when you need to get motivated and inspired to doing bigger and better things. What is going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Clocking Out. I'm your host, PR, the King of Hearts, aka Burt McGurk. How you doing? How you living? How you been? Today, we have a new guest speaker who goes by the name BarLocker on social media. BarLocker, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Excited to do this.
Thank you for taking the time to be on. I truly appreciate it. I've been interested in having you on for a while, man. I've been seeing your stuff floating around. I've been seeing the collaboration that you did with To The Moon. So I have a lot of questions of what you got going on, and also want to learn more about you as a person and share that with the rest of the people in the community.
Yeah. I didn't do a collaboration with To The Moon. I don't know.
You didn't do
it? That's another artist.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. The whole cactus thing threw me off. That's why, because he has something similar as well. My bad about that. Okay, we'll have to edit that part out then. I apologize. Good morning, Broford. Thank you for tuning in and checking in with us here in the chat. So before we get started and I start asking some questions so we can get an actual accurate information for the listeners tuning in right now and the viewers, can you please just give us a little bit of a background of who BarLocker is and your experience in the space and what it is that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so I mean, for the past couple of years, I've been designing like playing cards and stuff. You'll see my Cactus Playing Card brand around a little bit. I've just been into graphic design and stuff all my life and doing magic tricks and stuff. So kind of put that together, made playing cards, and I just started getting into making my own stickers and stuff. Just I don't know what to call it, but I just like do different projects, even if I've never done it before. Just try new things, and especially if it's graphic design based and all that. So.
And how is it that you got the name BarLocker? Where did that come from?
That's my last name.
Really? Your official last name?
Yep.
That's dope. All right. I thought it was just like a creative thing that you did. Was like, all right, you know what? Let me just make this. That's cool though. I didn't know that. That's something interesting.
Yes, it's pretty unique. Not a lot of there's like people in California. I live in Utah, but that's about only place I've really seen that last name. So
I like it. And can you tell us a bit more about yourself and where you're from?
Yeah. So born and raised in Utah. Just I haven't really moved around much. Stayed in pretty much like an hour circle of where I was born. So
all right. Now, what are some hobbies and interests outside of creating playing cards that you may have that people don't know about?
One odd one is I do fire eating. I don't know if you've ever seen that. They have like the batons with fire and you stick them in your mouth, blow out fire and all that stuff.
Really? That's the thing. I would have not expected that. Is that how? Wait, hold on. So how does someone get into that? How did that come along?
So it kind of goes along with like learning magic and stuff. There's this guy, his name is Brian Brushwood. He used to do fire eating. He wrote a book. It's a book on how not to eat fire pretty much. Pretty sure it's for legal reasons. And so I used the book to learn how to eat fire and all that stuff.
And what got you into trying out magic? Like what age did you start getting into that and start actually, giving it a try?
I was young, probably. Like, the earliest memories I have is like 7 or 8. But I was watching like David Copperfield and all the magicians on TV and stuff in Vegas and doing their big shows, and just loved it and started getting into it. I still have like my first deck of cards sitting in my closet. And just got into mostly card magic and stuff. But yeah, just watching that, just seeing how many cool things they could do. I was like, I want to try this, and got my first like magic kit for Christmas when I was 8, and from there it's been a constant thing now.
And so you're more into like the sleight of hand stuff of magic, right?
Yeah.
And is there anything else besides playing cards? Because I know with like sleight of hand, there's playing cards, there's stuff with like coins, and like also like the ball trick with the cups and all that. Is there anything else besides playing cards that you like doing when it comes to magic? And of course, eating fire. But is there anything else besides those that really has your interest in magic, or that you like to practice in magic, or do you like just to stick with the sleight of hand stuff with the cards?
So I do a lot of coin stuff too. I've got like some like silver dollars that I've got way a couple years ago, and still kind of learning with those because it's kind of more, I don't know, hard to do. So
I get you.
I've been playing with cards for decades now, so I'm pretty comfortable with those. But coins are kind of a whole different ball game, but it's pretty fun to do.
Gotcha. And with the coins, what do you mostly do with the coins? Is it more like disappear here, reappear there type stuff, or do you mess with like the sizes, making big coins and small coins appear and things? Or
It's mostly just disappearing, going from one hand to the other, and all that kind of jazz.
and how long does it take a person to actually get decent with any of those cards? Because it's me. I know whenever I see magic tricks and card tricks, it looks really cool. Like the whole sleight of hand thing and the movement and the gestures and all that things like and all that stuff. But I also know that it's not as easy as it looks. So how long was it for you, or how long did it take you to get comfortable with actually learning, all the tricks and sleight of hand movements before you were actually comfortable performing any tricks in front of anyone or letting anyone know that you were even into that?
That's hard to answer. I mean, it takes years sometimes. There's some tricks that are super easy, like they can blow your mind, but it's just like one simple move, or just there's some math involved in it that just works out and nobody really knows how it works. I don't know, like some of the tricks I've learned, I don't know, I would say after doing it for a couple of months, you probably get something down, because you want to perform to somebody if you're practicing a trick. Even if you don't want to, like I'll show like my family, I used to show my parents and stuff. But it just depends on the trick. Cause like I have like this deck I designed is marked, so you can just look on the back and know what card it is. So that takes like no skill at all.
Gotcha.
Other tricks, if you need pure sleight of hand, it just depends on the move and what you want to accomplish.
I get you. And is there any specific, like I'm not too familiar with any with magic in general, especially when it comes to sleight of hand or card tricks, but is there any specific move or certain trick that you are really proud of learning and that you like doing in front of people, that you feel like really takes them by surprise, or really like, tricks them and thinking like something really crazy happened and it's probably like the simplest thing for you to do?
So I don't know if you've seen the card to mouth trick where that you pick a card, they stick it in the deck, and all of a sudden it appears in the magician's mouth. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
That's the best to do because people usually don't expect it. It's somewhat simple, and it just gets the boom reaction at the beginning, and people are they're excited after that to see more.
So would you call yourself, being that you're good with the sleight of hand, would you call yourself a magician or just a person who's good with cards? Like, I don't know if there's a specific name for that, but what do you feel like you would fall under when it comes to that?
I'll just go with magician because, I mean, I guess the other, you could call me like a sleight of hand artist, but I'm not like focused on that. I'm more focused on just doing the magic tricks and stuff. Because there's people that spend years practicing like one move and they're really good at that one move. But I'm just kind of more generalist to a magician. And
so you just like all types of magic. It's not specifically with the card. Oh, okay. All right. And
yeah.
is there anything that you've done like on a big scale, as far as like any shows or anything where you've done anything like making people disappear or things float or anything besides for the sleight of hand and the card tricks?
No, I've never done anything really big. I've done a few like shows, but nothing too grandiose.
What was your first time ever performing in front of anybody? Any of the things you did, like that you remember, like that you were really scared or nervous, but then once you got up there, you found you were in your element and you found your comfort and you just went on it? What was like your first real time performing in front of anybody?
I think it was a family, like my mom's side of the family, they had like a talent show. So of course they asked me, "Can you do magic?" I'm like, sure. I'd never done it before, so it was kind of nerve wracking. But yeah, I just remember doing it and just kind of got in the groove. I don't remember how long it was, but I even remember my cousin screwed up a trick. So I'm like, "Hey, do this and this," and he did this, like the third something else I didn't expect. So I had to kind of pivot and kind of revive the trick, which I ended up doing. Just kind of, I was excited, I was proud of.
I like that. And what else have you done besides for magic? What else do you do? And besides for, working on your cards, which I want to get to in a bit, is there anything else that you have as a hobby or an interest that you do besides for creating different card decks and for practicing magic?
So I do graphic design. So I've done some like logos for local companies for my family's insurance company and stuff like that. I've been doing like programming websites and stuff like that. That's kind of
how long have you been doing that for?
Since high school.
And how did you come across that? Is this something that you just found interesting, or you're just naturally good at it, or how did you come across wanting to do designing and things like that?
It happened because I've been drawing my whole life, and people are like, "Oh, you're an artist." And so when I got into high school, that's where it really kicked off with graphic design and web design, because they had a class called digital media. It's the first time my school was offering that kind of class, and watching my friends, they had websites and stuff. So I'm going to learn how to do that, and learned all the programs and learned how to code websites and all that.
And how long did it take you to learn any of that? Like, what programs does it come? Because I'm familiar with like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and things like that, but I'm pretty sure that when you're doing graphic design, there's a lot more than just those programs that come into play. Like, what other programs are you do you have experience with when it comes to all that? And what was like the most difficult one for you to learn?
So those are pretty much the programs I use, because I just last year got my first like official graphic design job. Then we just use Photoshop, Illustrator. There's like Adobe InDesign, where it helps with like layouts of pages, like for books or magazines and all that. Um, I mean, the hardest one for me to learn was Photoshop, just because there's so much. Because with designing logos and all that, using Illustrator, I got onto that pretty quick. But I mean, it's something, I don't know if I got a skill set for that kind of thing, where Photoshop kind of a little more difficult for me.
Gotcha. And do you prefer like being that you consider yourself an artist, correct? If you're drawing and designing and everything like that and coming up with all these different ideas, what was it that got you to want to transition that to like the digital aspect? Like, I know I'm pretty sure if you started by drawing on with pen and paper or pencil and paper, correct?
Yeah.
And then you worked your way up. What was like your first introduction to like the digital space of graphic designing or just designing in general?
So it was that class in high school, because I mean, I can draw, but it's not very well. Like I have a sister that she can draw crazy things. I'm actually working on a book with her, because I would like to. I've always wanted to do like a children's book or something, but I just can't draw that well to save my life to publish to the world. And digital design was a little more. It was easier for me. I could get what's in my head out a little faster, a little more concise. Where if I drew it, it'd be like it's really crappy drawing that I have to keep transforming into what I wanted to.
And was there a specific thing that you saw or an artist that you became a fan of that was doing digital art that told you to do that, or was it just the fact that you just started going through the steps of working through creating on paper and then you started slowly transitioning into like the technical digital aspect of things? Or were you inspired because you saw a digital piece of art or some type of content, or maybe a specific artist that you were a fan of that also started transitioning to digital art? Like, what was it that made you say, besides for the class that you took, was there any other inspirations behind it that told you to take that step into the digital side of things?
I say not. I didn't really have much inspiration behind that. It was just more of a kind of like how I've done all my projects. Like I want to learn that, so I'm just gonna dive in and figure it out. That's how I've done most of my things. Like when I did my first deck of playing cards, I had no idea how to like, especially produce it, get it to a company, and have it printed. So I'm just like, I'll figure it out. I threw up a Kickstarter. I'm like, we'll see what happens. Get funded, and that's just how I've pretty much done all my projects. Just dive in and figure it out.
I get you. And we also, I know you from the VeeFriends space, correct? From the VeeFriends community. How long have you been in that space? Like, how did you discover the VeeFriends community in general?
Yes, I've been really involved since when they launched on Fanatics, all that stuff. I mean, I've been watching Series 1 since Gary Vee released it and all that. I just kind of sat back and watched it, didn't really dive too much into it, because I've been following Gary Vee for a couple years. And then once they launched on Fanatics, I'm like, I'll dive into this, and then kind of fell into the community after that.
Is there any correlation between your designing and your magic and your card creating and everything that you found to relate to anything that you saw in the VeeFriend space community, or did you just want to gravitate to it because you were a fan of Gary Vee and whatever they were talking about just interests you? Like, how was it? What was it that really got you to be more involved into like the community and Fanatics and all that stuff?
So first of all, it was just like it's Gary Vee thing, so I just kind of followed him a lot. But then I looked into it and all the characters and all what they're trying to do with all that, because it's nice to have something correlated with each character versus just a random character sitting around. So I kind of fell into that, especially with my kids. I thought it was something I could share with them and have fun.
And which character did you find yourself first relating to or gravitating to when you first got into the space of VeeFriends?
Cowboy.
The cowboy.
Yeah.
Do you officially own the NFT, right? What is it, the V2 that you have, or do you have any
I'm
other
a V2 cowboy.
And what about any of like the physical cards? Do you have any of the physical graded cards or any physical cards that you have in a collection or that you're very fond of the cowboy from VeeFriends?
Yes, I got a V2 rainbow right now, which is
Nice.
the only one that I know of. I think there's a V2 gold cowboy out somewhere. But as far as I know, I have the only cowboy rainbow that it doesn't include like an insert or signature card. But
And how did you land on that one? Was it just a random pull? Did you buy it off of did you win it in a bid, or was it a giveaway? Like, how did you come across that one?
the NFT or
Your whichever of the, like, your first time getting any aspect of like the VeeFriends cowboy.
I say the first time I think I got a core cowboy in one of my first packs I got from Fanatics and all that. As far as the NFT goes, I actually got that. I don't know if you know Chartsy in the community.
Yes.
I made a trade with him for that, and then just slowly, I think within a month, I had built the full rainbow.
Nice. And what did you can you, I don't know if you can or you feel comfortable, what was it that you traded for the cowboy?
See, I got the cowboy and a couple cards. Hey. What did I traded them two, a rare black cat and a rare Persian cat. I got some of my cowboy rainbow and the NFT. There's a couple other things to it, but yeah, it was a trade for multiple things.
Nice. And so what inspired you to start creating your own line of playing cards with the Cactus Playing Cards?
When I started Magic, when I kind of found like custom playing cards big companies were producing, and then after a couple years, you see all these small companies producing custom cards. I'm like, I can do graphic design. I like playing cards, so I just kind of, like I said, just dove in and decided because I lived in Arizona for a little bit. It's like Cactus Playing Cards and the cowboy, the desert. Yeah, and I mean, you can find playing cards for any like subject. You can find deep sea playing cards. You can find mythical playing cards, and there was no cactus playing cards. And so I just said, like, I'll take that. Went and got like the domain cactus.cards and kind of went all out with it for the first, and it did well for me for a little bit. So I had to keep going.
Gotcha. And you mentioned how you have the cactus as your logo and everything. Can you explain a little bit of the story why you chose the cactus as the center theme for your deck?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was in Arizona, that's kind of where I learned a lot about myself. I served a mission in Arizona, and just kind of, besides all the spiritual stuff that could happen, like I just grew as a person. I just grew up, I guess. I mean, as we all are, really immature as a child. And I just love the idea of a cactus, how like resilient, how strong, and how like long they live. And people always say it kind of looks like a middle finger, and the cactus is kind of like a middle finger to the desert. Like, if you all grow here for hundreds of years.
Yes.
So I love the cactus and just love deserts and like, I don't know, Western.
And does that correlate to any aspects of you and yourself in your life that you feel like it represents you, or you're just a fan of it for those reasons?
I feel like I'm kind of growing into the cactus a little bit, just because I'm trying to be more resilient like the cactuses are and all that, because I've just been, I don't know, not really dedicated to much in the past. And as I grow, especially growing with my family, I have to find how much dedication I need to move forward and be a better person.
I hear you. Could you walk us through your design process for your playing cards? Because they stand out. They look completely different than anything else, from the packaging to the card design, just the colors, everything in general. Can you walk us through your process of designing your cards?
Yeah, I mean, so my first deck, I don't know. they're all mostly inspired just by like kind of design styles that are out there. But this first deck was casino style, where usually they have like their casino logos and stuff. And so this was the kind of deck I threw out there, like, hey, I'll see what happens. I just started out with a theme kind of, and my mind's going blank right now. Sorry.
No problem. Go ahead, take your time.
I mean, mostly it's just an idea in my head, and I'll throw it together in Illustrator or something. And it usually, like, for how simple this design was, it took me 2-ish months to get it refined, because at one point the cactus arms were closer together and it really looked like I was flipping you off. But it takes a little time to refine it. Like this deck here, I wanted a deck that looked like the bicycle playing cards. And so I just sat down one day and drew it out and figured out, like, because I don't want it to look exactly like it, because I might infringe on trademark and all that stuff. But, mostly it's just based off of something that I've seen before, and I try to flesh out into a card that I'd like to produce, and I feel like people want.
And what's like when you started making these cards, like what was your main goal behind it? Just to have some dope design cards that you made yourself for people to play, or was there a specific game that you were trying to create out of it, or that you would like people to play out of it? Like, what's your main goal through designing and creating these cards? Are you trying to make your own type of cards in the sense of like I mentioned, like a trading card game or a playing game, or you just wanted to make regular playing cards where people could do whatever they liked with them?
So I started out with that. I just wanted to make cards for people something different for people to have, but it kind of grew into more of like a portfolio piece, because like when I go to get a job or look for a job, I can say I've produced this many products, because I think I have over like 7,000 decks I've printed between the 7 designs that I have.
Wow.
So I mean, it just started out just creating stuff, and now I kind of want to learn more about different like procedures and how to create products and stuff, because it's a whole new world once you start to create something and try to produce it for other people. So I mean, people still have a deck that they can play with, but it's helping me learn more about producing and marketing and all that kind of stuff.
I love that, man. And well, what inspired you behind the suited sticker mystery pack?
So it was just part of, because like when I started creating stickers, because with every Kickstarter, especially with playing cards, the creator usually gives out stickers and all that. And so I decided, like, I'll try to create stickers because that sounds fun. So I started doing that for my own projects. And then I thought, like, what would a deck of like stickers be like? And then I kind of saw my first like super sticker from VeeFriends. I'm like, I could do that. So I just was kind of based off of that, decided to make a little pack, and I don't know, it was more of a proof of concept to see if I could do it, because I felt like that would be kind of a cool thing. And then, I mean, obviously it's collectible in the VeeFriends community, so I can make something like that, but my own style and my own way. That's kind of where it kind of stemmed from.
That's cool, man. I wish, like, I'm not gonna lie, not to say that I'm not talented. I know I got some talents, but I wish I had that type of talent, to the sense where I could like design and create something like playing cards. Like, I've thought of it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have thought of it, whether it's having their own video game or having their own merch, or even like playing cards and things like that. But it's just like, I overthink in the sense of what each card is going to look like, the design of the back, the color, and the theme. And so I know that takes like a long time. It's not easy, but I'm pretty sure for a person such as yourself, who's just really has that experience with graphic designing and drawing and in general, like a lot of ideas have to come in your mind. So I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to grab a few things and just combine them together and put something out there. What kind of designs can people expect to find in the mystery packs, though?
I mean, they're all based off of the playing cards, but they have a base design. I wonder, right? Here, we'll actually open one. I mean, on the front of the pack, you can see that's kind of the design of the cards. And then there's one of ones. I put a few signatures in there. My kids actually drew some like sketch cards. So you get 6 of them. There's gold and all that. So we'll pop this guy open. So they're all going to be themed like that. You got the queen there. 10 aces. The gold ones look like
It's
there.
gold.
And then we got it's a regular hollow. Kind of hard to get the hollow in the camera.
Nice.
Yeah, I got like hollow stuff like that. Yeah, and I love what the V-Dads did. I think it's Turner's idea to make a little war pack out of it.
Yeah,
Fun to see.
that's dope. I like that also. Are there any plans to create more mystery packs with different variations of the cards and designs in it?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing like even just besides playing cards, doing different themed things because playing cards is kind of a specific area for people. Like not a lot of people care about playing cards. Like if I can find, I've got some things in the works to do different kinds of mystery packs. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do more cards and probably base it around like that war pack idea. Try to gamify it and make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next because I was curious. Like, would you ever think about instead of just making playing cards to make your own type of like cards for a specific game? Like, and if you would, like, what's the route that you would take? Would you take it like Gary's doing with creating different like characters and things like that, or would you have it just be specifically like making rules for normal playing cards and just designing them different? Like, what's the approach that you would take it if you were going to do it and take it that route?
So there's an idea for a game my wife and I are thinking of. It's just another card game, like based around the number pi and have like pi shaped cards and all that. I know it's kind of hard for me to like think of like my own. Like I don't think I could do a VeeFriends like giant character set of and gameplay like that. I've actually thought about taking a deck of cards instead of like sending like just a deck to somebody, split it into like 4 war packs, kind of going back to that sticker idea. That way you get 4 war packs that you can play, but then at the end you have a full deck of cards together. I don't know if that makes sense.
I get you.
Kind of make it a little different.
That's dope. And what is there any specific game that you like playing with cards, whether it's playing cards or any other cards like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, VeeFriends, anything like that? Are there any type of cards that one you like to collect and two that you actually enjoy playing the game, whether it's yourself or with friends or anything like that?
So we play like everything we can with playing cards just because we have so many. Like we play hearts, blackjack. Sometimes I can get my siblings together to play a little poker and all that, but nothing too not to branch out too far into games and stuff like that. I mean,
so you don't collect any cards, anything like that?
Other than playing cards, not really. I mean, I collect VeeFriends cards, of course, but.
And what is your most, do you have like a very special pack? Like, of course, besides your own and your own first wave of like printed packs that you did, but like before you started making your own design, is there a specific type of playing card deck that you have that is special to you for whatever reason, whether it's your first deck or you like the design of it or someone gave it to you or you bought it in a special place? Like, is there one that's very close and near and dear to you?
So it'd have to be my first deck of cards. Because when I was growing up, my parents didn't like playing cards in the house because like of the devil. I don't know, but they always had a deck in our trailer, which is odd. But like we never had playing cards and stuff. And so when I got that first deck, it was like a big deal. And I don't know how it stayed around so long, but I have it sitting in my closet in my collection and just kind of floats around. It's kind of means a lot to me because it kind of started a big thing for me in my life, and that's.
And do you still have that till this day? That deck?
Mm-hmm. The box is kind of torn up a bit, but the cards are still there, still usable. Got all of them, so it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, hey, but that's it. Those are the war battle. The what is it? The war battle scars that it has on it. That from the jersey taking it on. So, and I see that you have kids also, right? And like, so you're a dad, and my question is, can you give some advice to anyone else who's in a similar situation, such as yourself, who's a parent, who's working a regular job, but also has this creative side, whether it's designing or creating playing cards or just wanting to create something themselves? What is some advice that you would give those people to try and help them to give them the motivation or the confidence to take that step forward into trying to make their dreams into a reality, or even just attempt to try and make it a reality?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I didn't really think of until this moment that I do is I bounce a lot of ideas off my kids, which kind of gets them interested in what I'm doing. So I'm creating like a deck of cards or making a, I don't know, anything. I just show them like, hey, does this look cool? Like, eh. And I kind of like, maybe I should rethink that. Because I mean, yeah, it's nice to make things for adults and stuff, but if the kids can get involved, like, I don't know, that helps me out a ton because they've even helped me like package up orders from like a Kickstarter or from like the website and stuff. Yeah, involving them is, I think it's a crucial part to continuing with creativity because it's hard to do stuff like that with kids around because they take up a lot of work, a lot of time. Yeah, if you can just involve them and even if they're not helping physically, I don't know, just kind of let them know what you're doing because who knows, it might inspire them later to do something and I don't know, help you out in the future, help with the family business or whatnot.
I hear you. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's always good to try and find ways to get them to interact with you and get involved in different types of things. Is there, besides for, friends and family and sharing your thoughts and ideas with them to see how they think about it and if they like it or not, to start building and doing things in a more productive way to keep designing and moving forward? Is there any, being that we've mentioned the VeeFriends community, besides for that community, is there any other community or space or group of people that you've interacted with and joined and became a part of that helped you in some way productively with what you're trying to do with your playing cards, or anything that you've done with your graphic designing, or just like to give other people an idea of what's out there? Because a lot of people just hear about certain specific communities like VeeFriends and think that it's just all about NFTs and crypto, and really there's a lot more to it. So is there anything else that you came across that helped you community wise that wasn't VeeFriends related, that helped you either in the digital designing aspect or in the creative aspect of you making your cards and taking it more seriously to have your own sites where you could sell the cards and people can buy it and things like that?
I say the Magic and like playing card community helped out a lot. Cause I've been involved with that for quite a while, but it's especially the Magic community is a really good community to bounce ideas off of because you kind of need to do that because if you make a trick and somebody else has already produced it, you kind of want to know that so you're not, especially if you want to sell it and stuff. But it's a really good to learn to bounce ideas off of people, get feedback and stuff, which that community is really good at. Even sometimes they're a little too good at it to where it's kind of not good. Yeah, like that community kind of helped out because it's a really strong community. It's not as secretive as people think. Like if you want to go in and say, "Hey, I want to learn Magic," people will jump in and help you out. That's another aspect of it where if people are just willing to help out and make you a better individual in your Magic, and that helps you connect with people better. So I've always been like socially awkward, but learning to do Magic and just decide like, hey, I'm gonna pop up and show that person the trick kind of helps out a lot and kind of helped me grow.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do. I try my best to get out of my comfort zone as well, and I find that a lot of communities help with doing that. And it's true. A lot of people tend to believe it's going to be a lot more difficult than what it really is when it comes to joining communities and interacting with people. You'd be surprised how many people online are willing to give the time and effort to help you learn something new or walk you through something that you don't know, which is something I'm really appreciative of. I feel like I've learned so much from these communities and the people in it, not only from the experience that I had from just showing up all the time, but just from the basics of just reaching out to people, having a normal conversation and being able to build relationships with them. So I agree with you. There's a lot of benefits in these communities. I didn't even know that there was. I mean, I should have assumed that there'd be a community for Magic stuff also. I just didn't know that it would be like that. I thought that it would come off being that it's Magic. It's more secretive and they don't want to share something. So it's actually surprising that you're saying people are actually willing to open up about tricks and be willing to teach you new stuff. I thought it would have been the other way around. Like, they're like, nope, you got to
Mhm.
figure it out yourself type stuff. But that's actually good to know because I'm actually curious. I would like to know a trick or two. I don't know if I like to be a full blown magician. I think like
Mhm.
that's a lot of work. But I would definitely like to show off with a few little tricks, some sleight of hands, and I think that would come in handy here and there. Um,
Yeah. So
what are what are your long term goals for Cactus Playing Cards?
right now, I just kind of improving on my designs and stuff, because like I showed you that one deck was a marked deck, so anybody can look at it and figure out, like, oh, that's Queen of Hearts or whatever. I think I'm improving on the designs and making more utility out of them, and I don't know, maybe in the future, like pairing it with like magic lessons or some kind of learning aspect to it. I think it would be kind of cool. That's just Cactus Playing Cards is just a thing I started, and it's constantly growing, and I'm constantly trying to figure out what to do with it. I think eventually getting more involvement from people other than just I got a deck and moving on would be a good aspect of it.
And do you see yourself expanding your brand beyond playing cards and stickers? Like I saw on your site, you also have hats and shirts and things like that. But when it comes to the actual, like being that you're into Magic, do you think that you would move on to other things and designing other things that's related to Magic? Maybe even like I don't know what you would call those batons for like the fire things, but being that you have experience with that, do you think you would dabble into that at some point? Or is there any other type of magic tricks or anything related to magic, whether it's merch like clothing or things like that, that you think you would branch out to at some point?
Yes, I've always wanted to branch out and do like merch and stuff like that for other people, but there's a kind of a sector I've been thinking about kind of attacking. It is like magicians and like their advertising and all that. So you can get machines where you can print like little banners and stuff, which magicians use all the time. And kind of taking my love of magic and graphic design, kind of putting it together and helping out other people, trying to, I guess, be kind of like a mini marketing company for magicians. Getting into merch, and that idea of making the batons for fire eating, that's a decent idea I've never thought of before. Yeah, anything's a possibility at this point.
And as far as all the stuff that you offer on your site, from the cards and the different types of merch and everything, do you think you would like to, or would you be happy or comfortable being someone who teaches someone either tricks or sleight of hand or anything? Or do you just like performing and making the products that you make? Think you would want to be a person that teaches? Like, what do you like? Is it an apprentice or have an apprentice or anything like that where you teach them what you've learned, or do you just have a love for it and you just want to support it in any way?
So I don't know if I'd ever be at a point to have an apprentice or anything, or be able to, I don't know, like be at that level. Because I just kind of like the creative process. I can see in the future having a team where I could branch out to, I don't know, instructing people like that. But I mean, as of right now, it's just more of a love of creating and just making things that I want to.
I get you. And is there anything that you're currently working on right now, or any projects like specifically that you have coming up that you want to let us know about and give us a little heads up?
Yeah, so it's been kind of teased or not teased, but like shown in the community. BroFit got one. I'm creating like little slabs for like VeeFriends cards or any type of card that has a little message on the top of it that you can customize. That's something I'm working on. I feel like that would be kind of fun in the community and something that you can give to other people, because my whole basis behind it is there's a lot of people in my life that don't know about VeeFriends, or it could be any kind of collectible, but it's something that you can give somebody that doesn't cost them any, like, you don't have to know about it. So you get a VeeFriends card like a decisive duck and quote about being decisive or whatever, just something that's meaningful to that person, kind of bridging that gap. That's something I'm working on, trying to get out. And
do you have any advice that you would give an inspiring creator for playing cards specifically? Like, is there something that you would tell someone to focus on before they take the step to actually making the physical cards? Like something that you learned from your firsthand experience when you were designing, that's something that you were like, damn, I should have went back and thought of that, or this is something I want to make sure I don't forget about in my next deck that I designed? Like, is there something like a key rule that you want to make sure everyone remembers before they take that big jump, so that they don't have to take 3 or 4 steps back?
That's it. Biggest piece of advice I'd have is to show people your work before you get it all like finalized, because I mean, it's kind of scary to like, I designed this, I don't want other people to steal it. But if you're able to just, I mean, takes a little. It's hard to like show the people your work because like, what are they going to think about it? But if you're going to produce it anyways, people are going to see it. So if you get some feedback on it and are willing to change and do what you need to make it a better product, that's what I would say. Just share your work, make sure it's going to work.
And what's something else that you would like to see people do with your cards? Like you mentioned, like you want to take it a step further than just having people buy a deck of cards and share that they bought a pack. Like what is it that you would like to see happen more with the Cactus Playing Cards moving forward?
I feel like I'd like to see it more in people using them and showing them to other people, and I can't explain it very well, but just I don't know, kind of sharing connections with them, because a lot of people that buy my cards are just collectors. It'd be cool to see people kind of sharing moments with their families with them and stuff, and just doing more, maybe see them in magic shows and stuff. It'd be cool to see like a deck in a movie or something. But
nice. So basically you want to see the cards used. Like you want to make it for, it's that like you're a fan of the people that are collecting, but you want to make it more for the actual use of the cards, not just the collecting of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And is there anything else like for the stuff that you have coming up? Is there anything else that you feel could be like, is there anything that you think that you can utilize these cards for in the future? Like if you could collaborate with other people to do something, how would you like to do that? And what aspect would you like to see the cards utilized? Like, let's say if you were able to collaborate with Gary V and VeeFriends, for example, how would you like the cards to be related to whatever he's doing, or what idea would you try to use your cards and his brand of VeeFriends together? Like what would you do if you had a chance to mash up with them?
Obviously it'd be cool to have like the characters on the decks and all that, but I've actually thought about if I did do like a VeeFriends deck, like make a family game night pack or something. So that way you can have a deck of cards, you can have, I don't know, different types of games or rules and stuff in there. Just something to bring families together, bring friends together. Because I've been working on different like companies, like doing decks for their like employee appreciation days and all that. But something that people absolutely yeah, like I felt like a game pack would be cool. Have a cool deck of cards to put in there. And
have you worked with anyone in doing such things like that yet at all, or no?
So I've started. There was actually a company a couple years ago I was going to do a deck for, but then it just kind of fizzled out. But I'm always looking for opportunities to work with it, because I feel like as a company to have like a deck of cards that your employee has that they're always playing with, it'd be kind of a cool thing, kind of neat gift to have.
And if you had the opportunity to work with, I only use VeeFriends as an example, but if you could work with someone, let's say tomorrow, is there a specific brand or company or creator that you have an eye on, or that you would like to do something with if the possibility came up?
The first thing that comes to mind is like the bicycle playing card brand. They've done some collaborations in the past, but I think it'd be cool to have like a cactus bicycle deck, something that is more broadly available to people, because then you'd see it more used in houses and stuff. But it'd be cool to partner with a big brand like that. Cause like some of my decks I print through them, but it's my brand and people like just my brand's unknown. But if I could produce with them and collaborate on a single deck with them, I think that'd be cool, and be able to like grow on that.
That's dope. And if people are interested in getting your cards or learning more about your stuff, where could they go?
Go to the website cactus.cards, or if you want to look into more of that, the slab I'm making, the memory slab, if you go to got.cards, you can go to both of those and you can see all the stuff I'm working on.
So anyone who's listening or watching, if you're curious and you would like to know more about BarLocker and what he's doing with his Cactus Playing Cards, all the information to any of his social media and his website, I'm going to have listed in the caption below. So wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. So right now we have, yes, Nacho's right now. So is BroFit. and they're saying don't sleep on the Cactus Playing Cards and that the cards are fire. I agree. I love watching them get my hands on a pack or two. Right now we have 22 people tuned in. We have 19 on X. We have 3 on Twitch. Before we get out of here and end this stream, is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners and viewers, not only about yourself and about your playing cards, but just in general as a creator, as a graphic designer, as an inspiring business entrepreneur who's creating his own product? Is there anything you would like to share with us and let us know?
The only thing I can think of is just if you're thinking about doing something, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I've gotten. I mean, I'm not making big bucks with anything I'm doing, but I don't know. If you want to do something, just do it. That's the basis of life. If you're just gonna wait for stuff to go on, I don't want to wait anymore.
I hear you on that, man. What would you say is like one of your biggest, like, the thing that you're waiting for to happen to tell you that you're actually in the right step? Like, everyone always feels like if I just get to this point, or if I just make these many followers, or I just make this much money, or if I just get this collaboration, like, what is it for you that you feel like once you get to that certain point that you're gonna feel like, all right, I'm either on the right track or I'm just working and I'm doing what I'm supposed to? Like, what's your, I don't know if you've had that happen yet where you feel like you already had your sign that you're in the right direction, or if you're waiting for something to come. But what is that moment that you feel that when it happens to either yourself or other people, that it's a good sign of you're in the right direction?
I mean, right off the bat, I feel like if you're doing it and it's not doing well, because like my playing card sales have gone down decently, but if you're doing something and you still love it, I feel like that's the sign that you're in the right spot. If you can keep creating or keep producing revenue or whatnot, if you still have the love for it, even when things get bad, like that's when you know you're in the right spot. It might not be like the end, near the end. It might even be the thing. Like, it's like the future of my playing cards might not even be a thing that I do anymore, but it's what got me there. The love of doing that, the love of the process is what'll get me to the end. And I feel like since I still love the process of learning, of designing different things, of learning new procedures, and working with different producers. Hey, gosh. And just staying in love with what you're doing and continue learning more. I feel like that's when you know you're in the right spot.
And before we get out of here, is there something, like, is there a not a trick, but I know you mentioned how you held the deck of cards before and they were hard cards. Is there anything like that, like any tricks that people should look out for, or any specific one card that are in the sticker mystery packs, or anything that you think people should look out for and keep an eye on for, that is either like really rare or unique, or something special that you put in there that not many would notice, that only like you put in there for like real card fans or something like that?
So, man, especially with the sticker packs, I think the sketch cards for my kids are probably the grail, the chasing those, because they had a fun time drawing them. Like, everything's all laminated, so like they're like a permanent sticker and stuff. So I feel like if you buy those packs and you find that, let us know. That's the real chase. That's the real goal for those.
Is there a specific drawing that either of them made that's like more rare than the other, or they're all just rare, their drawings equally?
So they're all equally, because they just drew one each.
Gotcha.
So only because I drew one and they drew 2 other ones. So stuff like that. I mean,
well, we'll be able to tell the difference of who made what.
Yeah, so they wrote their names on there. It says Benson and Alita.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think my son drew a cactus, or my daughter drew, but yeah, they're unique. And
as that you know of, has anyone pulled any of them yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Some people have pulled some of the signed cards I did. Yeah, those are still out there as far as I know.
So now, all right, now I got something to look forward to when I'm ripping these packs. Then I'm definitely gonna look out for that. I'm interested now. So BarLocker, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share a bit about yourself and your Cactus Playing Cards. I really do appreciate it. Everybody else who came and tuned in the chat in the early morning stream, thank you so much. Knock Show, Bro Fit, Soggy Waffles, Who else is up in here? Blaze came through to show some love also. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. I truly appreciate it. Again, if you want to learn more about BarLocker and more about his Cactus Playing Cards, be sure to go and give him a follow and check out the information that we have listed in the description of this episode, wherever you are listening and tuning in. And again, BarLocker, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I'm all good. Appreciate you having me on. It's a good time.
I really appreciate it, man. And if there's anything that you have going on, any new projects or whatever, if there's anything I could do to help spread the word and bring some awareness and hype it up, man, let me know. I'm just a DM away, and I'll be happy to help in any way I can, man.
Awesome.
So thank you, everyone. Again, this has been another episode of Clocking Out. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Take care. Stay safe. Peace.
See ya.